Good morning. We're going to call the Natural Resources Committee to order. At this time, I'm going to ask Jason to lead us in a word of prayer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll bow our heads on number 6. Thank you. Dear Heavenly Father, just thank you for bringing us here today. Thank you for bringing everybody safely to the Capitol. Just ask that you watch over and pray for every family in this room. Pray for our deliberations today as we have discussion, and hope that at the end of the day we choose to do what's best for the state of Georgia. In your name, amen.
Amen. I want to welcome each and everybody here today. Before we're going to, the first bill we're going to present is House Bill 1146. But before we start, we got a good many people that signed up to speak. As everybody knows, everybody's got committee meetings to go to and other meetings we got to commit to. So all the opposing people, I would ask for y'all to get together and have your 2 people to present y'all's case, and it'll be 2 minutes for each person. On the people that's in favor, you would have 2 minutes also. All right. At this time, I'm going to ask for Representative Stevens to come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the committee, we're working off of House Bill 1146 LC 44 2718S. As all of you know, we've got the largest economic development project in our history of our state by a factor of 12. Before the Hyundai Group announced its massive development down in Bryan County, the largest thing that we had was $1 billion, which is phenomenal. Took up 2 counties, if you will. In fact, they had a problem just trying to find out where the front door was going to be on this county. But since then, of course, that was $1 billion. Now we've got a $12 billion investment here. We've done all the planning correctly to make sure that we got the resources there. Everything from infrastructure to roads and all that stuff is in the works. We've done things with water, with sewer, everything for the plant. The one thing that we overlooked was workforce housing. Even today, with the 5,000 people that work there trying to build this plant and get it ready, there is massive buildups of traffic for people coming from all over the state and outside the state, if you will, to try to get to this plant. Again, all this bill does, if you'll notice on the very crux of the bill, if you'll just flip over, it just says that if the county cannot supply water within 18 months, and there's 2 provisions here beginning on line 19. If the government lacks the capacity or permitted capacity to provide water, service requested in writing, or within 18 months, or number 2, the said person or delegated authority has the capacity of permitted groundwater provided, can provide this service without a letter of concurrence from this authority. Ladies and gentlemen, the county has no permitted water capacity. The private system has capacity today to provide water. The private system also can provide sewer. This is something that is extremely important. As I was presenting the bill in the House last week on Friday, we got front page that a 500-acre facility that could have provided workforce housing withdrew after spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to get into this area with a water system that could provide water and a sewer system that could provide the discharge for workforce housing. They finally threw up their hands after the investment because there was just no way to get it done. Again, sometimes we have to rely on water systems and sewer systems that are privatized to do that. I've got with me Mark Smith, who has for generations provided private water and sewer systems in 17 counties. The map that you've got in front of you shows the county in question now. This is in the unincorporated county, and you're going to see there where we've gotten water systems provided by the private systems today. You'll also notice in yellow where there's a discharge that has 500,000 gallons of capacity for treatment of sewage system. Ladies and gentlemen, I've always been a local control kind of person, but this is a time whenever we have got to have, on a timely basis, workforce housing for the largest economic development project we've ever had. So I'm asking you to consider this bill and pass it on to the Rules Committee so that we can get on with getting water and sewer for this workforce housing project. And Mr. Chairman, I have the owner of this private system here with me for any questions, and I'll take any questions from the committee.
Any question? What number you, son, 2? Senator Steele?
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman Stevens. Hey, so looking at this map and the number of lots proposed, I'm looking in my left hand, the map, and in my right hand, I'm looking at the Department of Public Health document, Manual for On-Site Sewage Management Systems, lot sizing criteria. What are the lot sizes that you're proposing for this development?
My name is Mark Smith with Water Utility Management. We've been in business 54 years, we're currently serving 32,000 homes in 17 counties throughout Georgia. We provide a lot of water and wastewater. We provide wastewater to thousands of homes. We don't have a site-specific project. What we have is a lot of developers who are approaching us wanting to develop facilities either with wastewater or without wastewater. And so we respond to the specific projects as they're presented.
So what I'm looking at here, and I'm sure you're familiar with it, so for anyone else following along, this is the dph.georgia.gov. Minimum lot size of single-family dwellings. Minimum lot size for what you're proposing is a minimum lot size is 43,560 square feet, which is a 1 acre lot minimum.
Yeah, that's not typical throughout the entire region. If you're going to have a house on a septic tank, it's usually a half-acre lot. But then you get smaller than that, you go to a wastewater treatment facility.
Mr. Chipman, if I follow up again, the only option, Senator, these people had was to put 1,000 septic tanks in this area. We don't need that. We need wastewater treatment. We need water withdrawal. There is no options. But to your question, the only other option that these folks have was just to proliferate septic tanks to the point that none of us in this whole area want.
But is it feasible to install a water treatment facility? Because you're giving them an 18-month countdown. This is a shot clock. So you're giving them 18 months to develop an entire water and sewage system to support 3,000 homes in 18 months. Is that actually feasible, A? And B, you're not going to build all 3,000 homes at one time, so what's the progress on this?
The issue is North Bryan County has like 90,000 acres. And so there's not going to be wastewater facilities in some of these areas for years and years. Just like all of South Georgia has very little, all of rural Georgia has very little wastewater facilities throughout South Georgia. The issue here is water. We have permitted capacity for water. We have developers who would like to build subdivisions. And what this bill does is prevents the county from having a veto power over a private system. We've been in business 54 years. We have to go to the county and get their permission. If you have an adversarial county that won't grant you a concurrence letter, then you're stopped. You can't do it. What this bill does is gives that authority to EPD and lets EPD make the determination whether the the project can move forward or not, rather than give the county a veto power over the project. That's the whole issue here, is the county's veto power through the letter of concurrence.
Thank you.
What number, son again? What number, you 3? Son again?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm kind of curious. We talked, and one of the things that, as I appreciate you coming up to some of the service delivery strategy meetings that we had during the off-season.
Right.
And we're working to get legislation passed on that. One of the things that, for me, the water lines that your water system, where you, I mean, and I was amazed when you told me you had 32,000 customers. Those water lines, where do they reside? Are they in the right of way of a road, or are they in the public right of way?
Sometimes they are, sometimes they're on the private property. It depends on how the developer installed them originally.
If they're on private property, do you get an easement from each of the?
Yes, you get a blanket easement from the developer before you begin the installation.
Okay.
And you get a blanket easement for the setting of the meter box in everybody's front yard and everything as well.
I just, for me, I know, having been in local government, those water lines, I wish they all would stay together all the time, but sometimes they need
Right.
repairs, and I'm looking at right away. And so for me, one of the things that I see as a couple different blocks, and where do we go with this is, okay, how do we make sure that when you're gonna go dig up on somebody's property, whether it's a
Right.
private property owner or whether it's the local government, the local government should be involved in that decision. And then one of the things that I would ask, I've been involved with local governments that have taken out GFA loans. And, okay, the idea, the last one I did, a big GFA loan on, was to build to a power plant that needed about 8 times the capacity of what the county was offering at that point in time. And the county knew, okay, we're doing this to focus water to that plant, but they knew that the only way they're gonna make it make sense is to be able to sell water to other people as the county continues to develop. And so they're taking out that loan in order to do that. And I'm kind of curious, when a private system goes in, you had told me at one point you can cover fire flow for residential stuff?
Yes.
And I think that's because your aquifers and what's going on in South Georgia allow you to do that. North Georgia is a little different. I know this bill is specific to the south
Coastal.
Coastal zone.
coastal area. What happens with the private side of things on your water lines? As the county decides, hey, we want to, have you ever sold any water systems or water lines to the county if they want to come in and start building that into their system?
We have never sold to a county, but we did buy Chatham County. Chatham County put all their water systems up for sale, and we were the high bid. We outbid the city of Savannah in using private financing. But every one of our water systems is in full compliance with the state of Georgia standards and with the county standards. And over the decades, as I said, we've been in business over 50 years, and over the decades, the standards have increased. And 50 years ago, fire protection was not a requirement. Today it is. So whatever the fire requirement is, I believe in Bryan County it's 500 gallons a minute. I believe it's been 500 gallons a minute for 30 years or so. So anything we built the last 30 years in Bryan County or any county, we've complied with that fire flow and put in fire hydrants in the requisite distance and have the fire flow.
Would it be your goal to have where you are assigned territory to serve as part of this? That for me, the original Territorial Service Act of 1973 on power usage, we assigned territory and so you didn't have duplication and repetitive.
Sure.
So your public's not paying for twice. Would you see that you would have assigned territory that you would be serving?
Well,
or
we
would you-
could. In Camden County, the county wanted us to assume a franchise. So at exit 26 on I-95, we have a franchise from Camden County to provide water and wastewater. We have a major wastewater treatment plant there that is designed to serve 2,000 homes, and we pump the effluent on a golf course, and we have to put so many hundreds of thousands of gallons a day on a golf course. And so we have that whole region has been assigned to us in a franchise by Camden County, because the Camden County said, y'all take that area. We don't want to be obligated to go provide infrastructure in that part of the county. So that's where we are on exit 26.
When they do that, are you required then to serve all of the customers that want water or sewer service in that area?
Well, I don't know if we required to serve all, but we're the designated provider, and so we have to work it out with the individual landowners and as projects go. But yes, essentially, we're the designated provider for that area.
And I'm handicapped because I deal with a lot of local government services, or
Right.
have dealt with in the past.
Right.
For me, one of the things that, when somebody comes to a local government and says, hey, I want trash service or water service or whatever, the local government, they don't get to discriminate or anything. And I just kind of wonder how the private side of that never dealt with that. Never, so you've got a lot better experience in that.
Well, our objective, just like Georgia Power, our objective is to serve customers. So we're going to try to work it out because that's what we're in business to do that. So.
And Georgia Power is required to provide service inside their assigned territory. So for me, on the flip side of that, if do you see this going to where if you were the assigned territory that you would,
Well, sure. But I think we're going far afield here from what this bill does. If you look at the red place, and please ignore the blue line. I just wasn't smart enough to get it off the computer screen to figure out how to do it. But these red areas, right now, under the existing law, we have existing water systems there. We can't provide we can't run a line down the street to serve 20 more lots next to one of these systems without the permission of the county. So that's what we're asking for, is to have a level playing field so that we can compete effectively or expand our facilities and let EPD make the determination of whether we can expand these facilities or not.
All right, we're gonna move on. Senator, you got a question?
Yeah, just.
Number 6.
Yeah, I'll be very brief, and just for some in the building, using Georgia Power as an example is not always the best example.
Okay,
so
I'm sorry.
just-
Coastal EMC.
All right, I just wanted to say that for the record. And just real quick, my understanding is, do you know of any other counties or geographies in the entire state of Georgia that this may or may not apply to?
It would only apply to the 12 counties in the coastal zone.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I don't know what my thing is, Mr. Chairman. I do have a question.
What number? You don't
I
know?
am 12.
12.
I have a couple of questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. I get the need for workforce housing. I understand that, but it is very important that we get basic infrastructure down. I know in any large development, you have to have the infrastructure and water and sewer laid down first. And trying to rush it through is not always a good idea. But my question is this: the GFA already gave Byron County $100 million in loans for water and sewer for the Hyundai plant. So if we privatize, how is Byron going to be able to pay that loan?
That loan is for the plant. Is that not correct? That is not for workforce housing. So that is for the plant.
Okay. Now, the governor already gave $250 million in the budget, in our state budget. Governor Kemp gave $250 million to GFA for this particular project. So how does that not conflict with the money that has already been given, and you guys want to privatize and go ahead and get started? So how does that money not conflict with the money that's already been given, what you're trying to do?
Let me take it a different direction. We have no options right now except to punch wells in the ground and put thousands of septic tanks. This particular individual can provide service from water and sewer today. The county does not, nor in the foreseeable future, have the ability to do that. So it doesn't conflict at all with the amount of infrastructure that's coming, because that's for the plant. does not affect, again, any of this stuff to do with workforce housing. We don't want a proliferation in any county of septic tanks. They're not good for the environment, and honestly, it punching hundreds of holes for private wells is, I don't believe is good for the environment either, but I appreciate it.
Okay, but I still fail to understand how that doesn't conflict with the money that the state has already given towards this project.
And again, back to the plant. Everything is focused on the plant. The thing that was left out was workforce housing.
All right. Any other question?
I do, Mr. Chairman.
What number you, 8,
Number 8,
Senator Jones?
thank you, and I understand the dilemma that you all are confronted with. Can you define workforce housing and what those projects would look like in this particular area?
Want this one in the paper? You want to do that?
Well, I think that's, the individual developers have their own different ideas of what workforce housing is. But some of it can be single-family detached homes, some of it might be apartments or multifamily. So it's probably a variety. I don't think there's any definition. It's just that there's only been 32 homes, I think, built in North Bryan County last year. And you got 10,000 workers showing up here. They'll be fully employed there by October, November. So there's a disconnect there, and the disconnect is by water and sewer, and that's what we're here to address today.
So this is not limited to a certain size lot or a certain size building or something like that?
It could be apartments.
Thank you.
Again, we lost, to your question, we just lost 500 last week that could have and had worked very hard to get that approved. They just don't have the capacity in the county. The private system does.
Thank you.
All right, moving along, we're gonna have the, who have y'all decided, the two speakers on the opposing side?
Can the group of us come on?
Two people.
Just two people?
Two people for 2 minutes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I know you've got some folks that came all the way up here from Bryan County
That's what
to
I'm
address
letting them
this.
choose.
And
I'm
for-
letting them choose.
For me, that's a long way to come to a committee meeting to testify, and I'd love to spend a little more time and let more of them be heard. This is a big issue.
Well, we got a time limit, and we got to move forward, but I'm gonna give them 2 minutes. I mean, Bryan County, if y'all wanna be
I
there.
mean, the Bryan County manager came up as one of them, I know.
That's fine, but we're gonna have two people. I'll say it again, 2 people and 2 minutes apiece.
Have Bryan County go first, and then we'll decide
Okay.
the second person why they do that.
All right? Bryan County? State your name and where you from.
My name is Ben Taylor, Bryan County Administrator. Had that position for 10 years. Also got with me Trent Thompson with Thomas and Hutton. He's our principal engineer on the project, the Hyundai project, our water and sewer infrastructure and whatnot. Just want to make it a point, we're not here to oppose any type of legislation. We're here to kind of update you. Update you on the project, update you on what our capabilities are as far as providing for both the project and residential and commercial in that area. Bryan County's familiar with growth. We've, between us, Pembroke, and Richmond Hill, our two cities, we produce about 600 homes per year. So our little water system, we started out about 8 years ago, went from about 200 customers to 2,000. So we're used to growth. We're used to delivering. I've got Trent here. He's going to update you on the progress of the Hyundai project, our infrastructure project to serve that and the surrounding area.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. So again, Trent Thompson. So I guess first and foremost, Bryan County does have an existing water and sewer system on the north end of Bryan County. It's got a permitted capacity right now of about 1.6 million gallons a day and has a fully functional water and sewer system. We've been working over the last 2 years to do one of the largest water and sewer infrastructure projects in the state of Georgia's history to serve the Hyundai project and the larger surrounding area. It's about a $360 million investment with about $120 million in GFA loans and local match and bonds the county has done. And that is to serve Hyundai and the surrounding area, specifically additional development, workforce housing, and the like. Currently, in a project of that size and scope, for just to kind of give everybody an idea, it typically would take about 6 years to design, permit, and construct a facility like that. And luckily, we've had great partners with state agencies and our local partners. We're getting that done in 30 months. And all of this infrastructure is going to be installed and completed by April of 2025. Right now, we've already spent about $150 million in infrastructure. You can see a lot of it going in. If you drive down the interstate, you can see the treatment plant under construction for wastewater and one of the large elevated tanks. So again, we got about $150 more million to spend, and the entire system will be up and operational April of 2025. And to kind of put it in context with service areas, so right now that planned area serves about 34,000 acres in Bryan County is what this system's going to provide service to. It is the backbone to serve that 34,000 acres. And with that, and I think one of the senators on the committee mentioned this earlier, there's about $120 million in loans that have to be paid back. And it's critical that that service area have that customer base to have those revenues coming in for Bryan County to service those debts that it's got. And that is absolutely critical. And then kind of the final point I wanted to make is, Bryan and Bullitt County are still large counties, right? And this not only opens service to Bryan County, but also Bullitt County. I think it's about 40,000 acres in Bullitt County that this system would also serve through intergovernmental agreements between Bryan and Bullitt County. But even outside of that, there's still 45,000 acres of land in Bryan County alone that's not either served by City of Pembroke or this Bryan County system that we're talking about. So it's critical, we think, for private systems to have a place. They're absolutely essential and required, as the committee has heard in the past, for all this extra development, because things are going to develop outside of Hyundai and outside of that immediate 34,000 acres that Bryan's serving. And we think it's absolutely critical to have private systems basically be a partner with local government to get that done. It's absolutely critical. And Bryan, I think, welcomes, Ben, I'll let you speak to this more, but I think Bryan welcomes private utilities to come in and help provide clean, safe drinking water while keeping costs manageable and helping to manage our vital resources.
Yeah, we wouldn't go as far as we.
That's your time. Thank you. All right, your next group. I'm gonna come back to the question. I said, I'll come back to the question.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I'm Pam Burnett. I'm the Executive Director of the Georgia Association of Water Professionals, and I am here to express my opposition on House Bill 1146, along with the others that aren't allowed to speak today from ACCG, GMA, and other organizations. So I'm just going to give you my point of view, but just to tell you, our role is to provide education and training to the thousands of water professionals in Georgia and to be a resource for those interested in responsible water management. We were established in 1932. We have 4,000 individual members and over 250 water utilities and corporate members. And we've been a respected technical resource regarding water and utility operations in Georgia for over 90 years. House Bill 1146 does not support responsible water resources management, and it contradicts state water policy. In particular, the bill circumvents protections in the rules of safe drinking water in Georgia that are necessary to protect consumers and communities. Section .04 of the rules outlines the approvals required for establishing water systems that serve the public. Each of the 11 paragraphs in the section of the Safe Drinking Water Rules reflects these approvals and procedures that support responsible water management, including local government coordination and approvals and certified concurrence of privately owned community water systems operating in their jurisdictions. There's a lot of wisdom in these rules. Unfortunately, that wisdom was gained from bad experiences between public and private entities in Georgia. Without coordination, concurrence, and mutual support, which I think there could be, between the local jurisdictions and the private entity, the chances for a forced arrangement to go well are slim. This bill does not offer a win-win. It is a win-lose and puts EPD, local governments, and water customers in a precarious position. And I understand that the bill is being offered as a solution to the immediate water need to serve the Hyundai project and the development of workforce housing. It's an amazing economic development offering lots and lots of opportunities to Georgians. However, I urge caution when it comes to the impact on water resources in this special region and the rush to put aside sound water policy and the authority of the local governments in this area. This bill will benefit a private water supplier at the expense of an existing and effective water policy that works everywhere in the state. While the bill has been explained to me and others to be limited in geographic scope, as it's currently written, it could affect the entire groundwater zone south of the fall line, not just the coast, nor the area near the Hyundai project. Further, the precedent it sets to bypass approvals that protect the environment and consumers can set up a troubling situation for other Georgia communities. We've learned many tough lessons during the decades of rapid growth in Georgia, and the policies and procedures in the state drinking water rules are in place to assure the public that known mistakes won't be repeated. I want to stress how important it is to avoid the problems and costs that arise when water services are not collaborative and cooperative between public and private entities. Between the safe drinking water rules and the state's service delivery strategies, the policies lay out a very worthwhile cooperative effort to address conflicting interests and priorities when planning quality water infrastructure. I strongly urge this committee to vote no on House Bill 1146. Please do not allow the local governments to be bypassed in decisions regarding private water systems in their jurisdictions. House Bill 1146 weakens important water policies that protect Georgia consumers, communities, and the environment. And I really appreciate you giving me the time to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Mike?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm Mike Vacker, and I am here today to discuss this issue from the viewpoint of the home builders, the Home Builders Association of Greater Savannah. We have approximately 1,000 members that represent land development in Chatham, Bryan, and Effingham County. So we have a significant interest in the opportunity to be able to build housing. Let me address a couple of questions that were asked. Senator Still was asking about the use of septic tanks. The use of septic tanks basically are dictated by the developers. And in terms of being dictated by the developers, that is dictated basically by what the land development and housing plan is for the particular parcel of land in conjunction with the zoning that would be provided by the county itself. So if you are going to go in and put in low density, then you can develop that on septic tanks, which might be advisable in certain areas. If you want to achieve more density, then you have to go in and put in a treatment plant. And so if you look at single family, you can do single family with septic tanks. Absolutely, you're not going to get the density. You're not going to be able to provide the number of houses. If you are looking at multifamily, which is going to be required to meet the early housing needs of a lot of these employees, because they will not be able necessarily to come in and to buy fee simple a house at the purchase price, then they're going to be looking for apartments and townhomes in multifamily developments, and ergo, a multifamily development does require a pollution treatment system that would have to be put in. Senator Jones was asking about workforce housing. There are multiple definitions of workforce housing and affordable housing, and they vary, but generally workforce housing is defined as the individuals having an income of between 60 and 100% of the average monthly income for that particular area. Now, we have a program, the Rural Workforce Housing Initiative, that was set up last year, and DCA has actually put a pin in the ground on what they determine workforce housing is to be. And in their mind, workforce housing is at a price point of $125,000 to $290,000. And I think all of you can realize that it is terribly difficult to build a home and sell it for $125,000, when in many instances you're looking at a $50,000 investment per lot to put the infrastructure in and to be able to start putting the sticks in the ground so that you can put butts in beds. But what we're finding through the Rural Workforce Housing Initiative is that of the grants that they have been able to make to incent the development of hundreds of workforce housing units, the average price is coming in at about $250,000 per unit. But the size of those homes is between 1,300 and 1,400 square feet. So they're smaller, but they can be afforded by people who are entering the housing market for themselves. We do know that there is an acute lack of housing in northern Bryan County. I'm not going to debate the area of service. I think Mr. Thompson said that their system is going to serve about 34,000 acres, but this plan that they have adopted calls for this service plan at $158 million just for the water end of it to only serve 12,000 acres of what basically is about 80 to 90,000 acres in northern Bryan County. The basic issue is we have 17,000 employees coming into this area, 10,000 direct employees for Hyundai, 7,000 for support industries. There is no place for those people to live. We have 600 employees now at Hyundai. Fully 20% of those are having to commute 65 miles away where they can find housing.
All right.
This is one key to provide the solution, and I thank you for the time.
Thank you. I want to ask the author of the bill come back up. In closing, before the author closes, is any questions you want to ask the author? Number what? Number 5. Senator Goodman.
Just a quick question. The difference between the rates that are charged from private systems versus public systems, or are you all in line price-wise with what?
We're very comparable, yes. Depends on the number.
Come to the table.
I just looked at it last week to get ready for this meeting, but
Speak into the mic.
I just looked at it last week to get ready for this meeting. At 5,000 gallons, we're a little more expensive. At 10,000 gallons, we're about even. And at 20,000 gallons, the county's significantly more expensive than we are. So it depends on how many gallons you use.
Senate, what was your number? 12?
12, sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Given the magnitude of this project, and it is so important that we get infrastructure right, I know that, workforce housing, we need it. However, we have to make sure that we can support that workforce housing underground long-term. I think I have some concerns about putting in wells that are unchecked. I have concerns about conflicting legislation that may already be out there. And I would like to hear, because we have very limited time to debate, I think this is cause for more discussion. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I would motion we table so that we can get some more discussion, because we're making a huge decision on a very large project, and I feel like we don't have all of the information we need, and we have not heard from enough individuals here today. Motion table.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. All in favor of tabling the bill, raise your right hand. How many? 5. All opposed, raise your right hand. All right. Carry on. It fails.
Mr. Chairman, I'll just close with this. We have capacity. We need to be able to move away from the proliferation of unchecked wells, and your point is well taken, which is exactly the only option that we have. We've got to be able to move this forward. We need to allow the county to come forward with their infrastructure and whenever they have time. But the truth is, they don't have capacity today because the amount of capacity that they're that they're showing is already dedicated to another subdivision, a massive one that's in the other end of the county. That is true. And Mr. Chairman, I'll ask for your favorable consideration and move on.
All right. What's the wishes of the committee? Number 8.
And thank
Senator
you, Mr. Chairman, for bringing this legislation. I'm trying to get comfortable with it. I'm not sure I really understand the dynamics right now that's going on between, of course, the county that's come up and said they've made this tremendous investment in resources and money, by the way, but yet this bill seeks to circumvent the work that they're doing. Can you kind of break it down for me and explain why both are needed, considering the investment the county's already made?
And the county will continue to make the investment. It's just going to be a very, very long-range plan. The chairman of the commission came to me last week and said, can we move this out to 24 months to give us time? The original bill had 12 months, so I settled on 18. That's where the number came from. We've got the ability to get water and sewer in this area, which is already being supplied in certain parts of the county, to be able to get water and sewer to these folks today. But extending it out to 18 months should give them plenty of time to get to their infrastructure needs.
Follow up, Mr. Chairman. Are these services duplicative? Are they going to overlap in any kind of way? Could that happen? Because it just seems with what's in this language, that could be one of the scenarios that could happen.
I'll have to defer to the water system. I've got to believe, and the county has already stated that they wanted to work with the private systems. So I've got to believe that's going to happen.
The county did state that, but I'm sure they were talking about within a certain geographical area. They wouldn't want to duplicate the services they already provide in a particular tract of land, I'm assuming.
The water that we've seen so far in the plan looks like it's going to be for the plant.
Send it again.
Thank you,
I
Chairman.
wasn't done, Mr. Chairman.
One more.
Thank you.
We got a lot to go. We still got.
And I appreciate that,
Yes, sir.
but you know, there's a lot of people in this room, and I'm
Yeah.
sure, hopefully, that
Ask
we would
your-
have an opportunity
ask your
to
question.
fully vet. So what you're telling me is the investment that the county's making is providing water and sewer resources to the plant, but yet this bill would deal with areas outside of the facility, is that correct?
This bill will deal directly with workforce development housing, yes.
Thank you.
Send it again. What number?
Number 3.
Okay.
And I know the chairman knows how much we work together on economic development and try to promote things in our state. For me, you know, you are a creature of where you came from. I understand local government, and they're always not the fastest to make reactions. The problem that I see in the bill is this is in direct conflict with what we do with service delivery across the state. And that's one of the concerns that I have is that, you know, and we're trying to update that right now. And one of the things that, you know, I was glad that Mr. Smith came to some of our service delivery meetings and what's going on, but I see it as a conflict. And, you know, we all want to help the workforce housing, and we want to get some things, but that's where, for me, Mr. Chairman, I would implore you, and I don't like tabling or holding a bill, but I think that more discussion is important. Because we are making a big policy change here in this, and that's where, when I look at the scenario, I'd love to see how do we deal with that conflict of workforce housing. Can you tell me, because this if a county's got plans and they can't implement all their plans in that 18 months, how do you deal with it from here's a private sector that they don't have the constraints. They don't have to go to public bids. They don't have to go to public auction. They don't give the local government has a lot more constraints on what it can do with bidding and construction than a private company can. And I agree that, you know, there's a lot of times where the private sector can go faster in some areas. But for me, I don't think it's a conflict, but I think that, you know, you're going into the county road right-of-ways, you're going into the public domain, and this is where local control should have a play in that.
Mr. Chairman, they're already there. They're already there out in the county where we're talking about supplying the service.
Senator Gooch, what number you want?
Number one. Thank you, Chairman. I feel like there's a lot of anxiety in this room because people aren't used to these issues. These issues are taken care of every day around our country and throughout our state. Private water and sewer systems are all over our state in every Senate district that we have, except for maybe in real heavy dense areas like DeKalb or Fulton County. But almost every county in Georgia currently have private water and sewer systems. And Senator, again, the Service Delivery Act does not apply to private systems. It is an attempt to keep governments from competing against one another and having overlap to avoid double taxation. So that, to answer your question, private systems aren't subject to that, nor should they be. If cities and counties can't afford to put utilities in the ground, then I think private systems should be allowed to. In fact, private systems should be looked at by counties and cities. I did it when I was a sole county commissioner in Lumpkin County. We privatized the sewer system. It is a very effective and efficient way to provide services that the government doesn't have the means to do. I heard a few minutes ago that Bryan County was borrowing hundreds of millions of dollars. The key word there was borrow. That means the government is in debt. The citizens of that community have to pay it back. This private water developer will not borrow money. It will not, if he does, it won't be on the backs of the taxpayers. It'll be on his corporate withstandings. It'll be, and let me assure you, members of this committee, private water systems and sewer systems are held to as high a standard, if not higher, than a municipal-run system. I know for a fact because I do it for a living. This system is not unsafe. Groundwater is not unsafe. It is tested daily by certified laboratories. It is checked yearly by the EPD and their inspectors. Nothing done by a private-owned system will be any less safe than what is being done today by a municipal government in the state of Georgia. This system is already in service. You see the map. He has 30,000 customers, if I heard that number correctly. This company is established. They know how to run water and utilities. We have to get this workforce in place for this new plant in South Georgia. This is the most effective way to do it. I encourage you to vote for this bill today. There's no need to table this legislation. Tabling it will not give you any more answers. The EPD is already established to handle these kinds of applications, and they can do it with this one as well. Thank you.
Thank you. What number? Moore? 9. Senator Moore.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the majority leader, I typically always agree 100% on board with adding competition to any marketplace. What concerns me, though, is, and I wish I was able to ask a question to the county, if the taxpayers are in debt $20 million already, and now the private companies coming in to supply the water, how are the citizens going to have a remedy to that debt if the local water company isn't selling water? So I really feel like I only heard one opposing argument to this entire bill. So it seems like the local county, which I thought was opposed to start with, that you acted like, I guess you were in support of privatization to some extent as well, but then at the same token, you're $20 million in debt. So I'm a little confused, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Anyone else? Number 10. Senator Harbin.
I think we look at the $12 billion investment by Hyundai that's already underway and under movement. I have to believe that also with a facility of that size that it is stretching the county because they're growing in other areas as well. This only deals with workforce development, housing, as I understand it, which is there. I would say that from a standpoint of private water systems are a big part. I've seen those, dealt with those in the past. I think this is the county is already being stretched by what's going on now. This is really just an assistance without bringing in, how do I say, citizens' money, taxpayer money. It's private funds, so it doesn't cost the taxpayer, and it is a way to efficiently, and it's been my experience that private works a whole lot faster than governmental entities do. So I would think that this makes sense because we've made commitments, we've got, how to say, development going on. So I think it's a good thing that we bring in, and here's the part about it. Counties are already going to be stretched with what's going on. This is just a help that they don't have to worry about. So I think it's a good thing that you bring in the private sector, and that's what they do already. So it's an easy lift for them.
Thank you. Senator Jason.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to pass LC 442718S, House Bill 1146, as a committee substitute.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, raise your right hand. Okay. Passes 9-4.
Thank you, committee, and thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All right. At this time, I got a presentation from a young man that I met last week. He was a page for us in the Senate, and I was very impressed with the association that he's involved with. And I'm going to ask Mr. Blackwelder to come forward and bring whoever you want to bring and forward, and we're going to give you a little give a presentation for about 5 minutes. Come forward. State your name and everyone that's with you.
All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Corbin Blackwelder. I am a senior at Thompson High School in the McDuffie County area. I'm here joined with my dad and a man named Jimmy Vickers. They are two of the board members at our organization here. My dad stands at the Family Advocate, and he stands as one of the original board members when the organization was founded in 2022.
Right.
That was the laser. There we go. So, Courageous Outdoor Kids is a Christian-based nonprofit organization that specializes in taking kids with cancer.
Speak into the mic, buddy.
Sorry.
Yeah, to move. There you go.
So I'm not very astute like everyone else here. So, Courageous Outdoor Kids is a nonprofit Christian organization that specializes in taking children with cancer and other life-altering illnesses and conditions, along with their siblings, on outdoor adventures such as hunting and fishing. These hunts range anywhere from our annual turkey hunt, deer hunt, and fishing event to personalized hunts like bear and pig hunts, and fishing events from deep sea fishing to fishing at our local Clark Hill Lake. Our mission is to take something that we're all very passionate about, like the outdoors and getting kids out there and experiencing the natural wildlife we have in Georgia, and giving families a break from the hard things that they have to go through in their normal lives with the sickness, the treatments, the hospital visits, and everything they have going on. So our main objective is for, number one, the kids going through these illnesses, going through these conditions, gives them a break from what they have to go through in their normal lives, you know, all the hospital visits, all the treatments that they have to go through, and just give them a moment to get out and be kids and enjoy time with other kids that are going through something similar, and just have time to smile and do stuff that they enjoy. As well as that, what makes us a little bit different from most organizations like this one is that we let the siblings also come along too. And so the reason we do this is because the siblings a lot of times are affected by illnesses. I don't know if anyone here comes from a family that has had a sick child in it, but whenever one child is sick, the siblings oftentimes get put on the back burner, so to speak. Not because of any sort of dislike for that child, but more so for the fact that the sick child takes so much effort to take care of. So Courageous Outdoor Kids takes this as an opportunity to get the siblings out there with them and sort of get them off the back burner and get to experience this beautiful thing as well. As well as this, we also focus on the parents. Whenever the kids are out and on their hunts or playing with the other kids, the parents get a time to have fellowship with each other and sort of talk to each other about different things that they're going through, relate to different problems that they're going through on their journeys. And it's a very emotional time because as everyone knows, as a parent, you have to hold so much in and keep yourself strong in front of your child. So while they're out, you have a chance to be sensitive around other parents and show the real stressful side of this whole thing that you're going through. And so this is a testimony from one of our parents. I'm not going to make y'all read all that. Her name is Miss Drew Hughes. Her daughter, her name is Braylon, was diagnosed with cancer at a young age. Through treatment and whatnot, they were able to get her into remission, and they got involved with this organization. And in this testimony she wrote for us, it talks about how on Friday she arrives and they only knew a handful of people. By Sunday they're leaving and they're hugging people's necks and like they've known these people for their entire lives. And so it's a really beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to be a part of. It's a beautiful thing to be a part of, and she was really thankful for the time that we got with them. This is a testimonial from one of our children that we have here. His name is Hunter Vermillion. He is from Tennessee. And he got involved with the organization after he was diagnosed with, I'm not going to try and say that word, but a brain tumor. And so he used to enjoy going to sports events and enjoy doing very physical activities, but after his diagnosis and his treatments to get rid of the brain tumor, he had to sort of let this go, let the sports go, let things I enjoyed goes. So Courageous Outdoor Kids got in contact with the family, got them out, and was able to get him in the outdoors and get him in the woods and get him doing something that he's passionate about. And now he's become one of our ambassadors and goes around with us on different events such as this one.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you for the passion y'all have for getting people outside and trying to get it off their mind. But thank you for coming today and presenting, and keep the good work up. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have one more bill. I'd like to ask for Representative Hagan to come forward.
Well, I didn't want to upstage my partner in crime here. Mr. Chairman, before we
Yes.
get started, I think we need to verify which what we're working off here.
All right,
We have
what, you
this-
tell us which one you're working on.
I've got the sub that I picked up yesterday afternoon, LC 550295S.
550294S.
I've got 95S here.
This is what was brought to us this morning.
I don't have,
This is all we got this morning.
well, okay, Does it have 6 sections? Because if that's, let's work off that one. I'm not sure I've seen this sub, but whatever it is, since it's what you all have, that's what I'm happy to work off of and deal with that.
Let's work off the bill.
Got sports betting.
There is no sports betting in this bill yet. I hope it stays that way. No, not yet. Do we need to put it there?
So what number?
What I have here is 550294S.
Okay.
And let's
You
go with
have,
it. We can go with this. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, though, for giving me a hearing.
6 sections. It's
It
got
has
6
6
sections.
sections.
Yep.
The last one being
All right, everybody on the same page?
the repeal section, yes.
All right.
Okay, so this bill originally was the Blaze Pink bill, but 2 other bills have been added to it. So if it's okay with the committee, I'll go through the 2 additions and then move on to the original content of the bill. So if you see on your bill, Section 1, this deals with extending the sunset, allowing for the use of air guns for hunting in certain circumstances. It's currently in code. Currently, the sunset date is July 1st, 2025. This would simply change the year to 2028. Then if you move to section, if you're ready. Okay. This isn't the sub that,
All right.
I think we might need the amendment here.
Okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna we'll regroup.
There's been a lot of confusion here,
Okay.
and this has like a section from public, yeah, I don't. This isn't right. This isn't what I have here.
Yeah, we
Could we possibly let Ms. Lennig present what she's got? She's missing school today, and I'm happy to come back at any time you
Okay.
would have me back.
Well,
Would that
we-
work? And I'm
we-
not sure what this confusion is, because I've got one copy,
We
0295.
fixing unconfuse it. It's just a hearing,
Let's do that.
and we're gonna have this young lady speak to us right now.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
What's your number? You the witness number?
W1.
All
Do
right.
we just want to make sure that the young lady doesn't want to come back, miss school a second day?
Would you like to come back and miss school a second day? Her father says no.
Okay.
So, I was very sorry for this confusion. We had a lot of back and forth, and
We'll
I've
get-
got a
we'll-
bill, and I
We'll make
don't,
it happen. We'll make it.
I don't know what the. It's possible, and nobody told me. It has happened before. Well, so,
Something about a box derby that happened that way.
yeah. So,
Let's-
the
let's
part
hear-
of this
let's
bill
hear-
that I am most excited about is sections 2, 3, and 4, which appear to be correct in the sub you have. It deals with, during deer firearms season, we are required to wear 500 square inches minimum of fluorescent orange. This section of the sub would simply add fluorescent pink as an option. And this idea came from Ms. Carly Lennig, who we have here. She is a high school student in Gwinnett County who gives me hope that we have young people like our previous speaker and Ms. Lennig here that are interested in the process and are willing to come up here and engage us even when we don't have our act together. I apologize, but here she is.
State your name, dear.
Carly Lennig.
What school you go to?
I go to Mill Creek High School.
Awesome. Do you like school?
I do, yes, sir.
Okay.
Hello.
The floor is yours, dear.
Okay, thank you. Hello, my name is Carly Lennick. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak here today. I am 14 years old and I live in Gwinnett County. I have been hunting for the past 4 years with my brother and dad, and I have truly fallen in love with the sport. Recently, other states have made the law to allow hunters to wear pink in addition to orange while hunting. This has inspired me to try to make this change in Georgia. Therefore, I would like to propose a change to the law to allow hunters to wear blaze pink in addition to orange while hunting. Currently, in Georgia, it is a law to wear at least 500 square inches of blaze orange outerwear. I would like to expand this option to not only blaze orange, but also blaze pink. Having the opportunity to wear blaze pink makes me feel more feminine in a sport I love doing. Having the option to wear blaze pink in Georgia would increase the number of hunters. In the New York Times article titled, "Hunting in Pink, New York Adds Another Color for Safety and to Attract More Women," it states, "Pink is the new orange for young hunters in New York, who can now wear the color for safety under an updated law that advocates said was meant to attract more women and girls to a sport dominated by men." Clearly, having the option to wear blaze pink will increase the number of female hunters in Georgia. According to this article, after passing the law, the percentage of female hunters increased to 9% in New York. As a result, passing the law to allow hunters to wear blaze pink will not only increase the number of hunters in Georgia, but will also increase the funding for Georgia's Department of Natural Resources. Currently in Georgia, when hunters hunt big game or little game, it is a requirement to have a hunting license. If having the option to wear blaze pink for hunting is made into a law, then the number of hunters will increase. As a result, there will be an increase in hunting licenses purchased, thus will increase revenue and funding for the DNR and the state of Georgia. Blaze pink has been scientifically proven to be just as safe as the current blaze orange color, and maybe even safer. According to the article titled, "Blaze Pink, the Newest Deer Hunting Color," it states, "A leading color scientist from the University of Wisconsin conducted a series of experiments to determine if blaze pink was as safe as blaze orange. After a variety of tests comparing the two colors on the human eye, the scientists concluded that blaze pink is equally, if not more visible than blaze orange. Additionally, pink is even harder for a deer to see because it's further from the color yellow, a color deer can see on the color spectrum. As a hunter myself, I would like to wear another color other than orange, which is more visible for hunter safety and less visible for deer. Last but not least, having the option to wear blaze pink while hunting will spread and support breast cancer awareness. Breast cancer awareness is the whole month of October. This month aligns perfectly with the beginning of deer gun hunting season. People are always wearing pink to support this cause. Having the option to wear blaze pink while hunting will not only spread awareness about breast cancer, but it will show support to the strong women fighting breast cancer and the strong survivors as well. In conclusion, having the option to wear blaze pink while hunting in Georgia will bring many positive results, such as the increase of hunters in the state of Georgia, the increase in funding for Georgia's Department of Natural Resources, and the increase of safety measures. Lastly, being able to wear blaze pink while hunting in Georgia will spread and support breast cancer awareness. Thank you.
Thank you for that presentation. I have one little question. Is it a difference between blaze pink and hot pink?
Not much, no, sir.
Not much. Well, thank you for your passion. Thank you for presenting today. And I think we got a question or two. Or comment. You got a question? Number 3. Send it again.
Ms. Lang, I'm proud to have you here today to present. I said you're an outstanding high school student. For me, one of the things that I'm colorblind, but I can see pink, and they tell me that my chairman asked us to wear pink to our committee meeting today. So I wore this jacket in honor of your bill presentation. I hope you'll come back when. I hope your folks. Can you ask your family to bring you back again? We like having you come visit.
I will.
Thank you.
All right. Senator Merritt.
Mr. Chairman, and I want to thank you. I love when young people come down and engage in this process that we're in, and you did a great job. And I fully support equity, gender equity in hunting. Thank you. And I'm wearing pink, and yes, it is a hot pink. I think we're almost twinsies today. So thank you for coming down. This is a great bill, and I'm pretty sure we'll get it, where it needs to be to get it passed for you.
Thank you.
Look like everybody wants to talk now. Yeah. Senator Moore,
I appreciate you, Mr. Chairman.
did you wear pink?
I did not, sir. No. I didn't get the memo, I'm sorry. The original committee substitute doesn't have the hijackery in it. It's got the extension of the sunset and everything related to fluorescent pink. So, Mr. Chairman, if I could make a motion just to pass LC 550246S, the witness would be able to pass a bill today.
We're gonna
Which one?
we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back. There's too much confusion here.
That wasn't.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it right for her. Yep.
It's in the
And also, again, thank you for coming today.
Thank you so much.
Senator,
I was just gonna say, my daughter-in-law is an avid deer hunter. She's out hunting the boys, which has made it kind of interesting. And she will be delighted that she can wear pink. That's one of her favorite colors. And I have a 4-year-old granddaughter who hunts with her mother, and they will be delighted to get mother and daughter camo in place. And so, thank you. They'll be excited about that. Appreciate you doing that. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Please come back and present us when we get it all.
I will.
Okay?
Thank you.
and also I have a niece that will be very happy too. We got one more comment and then we're gonna adjourn. What number?
Number 4.
Senator Ramon?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I got your pink notice really late, but I had a pink in my eye now. So I got something pink, but anyway.
Will you color his shirt for him?
Thank you for coming in, especially from Gwinnett County, but one thing caught my eye, say New York did that and they increased 9%. I think we can beat that, right? Once we get that, we're gonna beat that. Okay, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. This meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.